Good day, beautiful people. Just wanted to go for a little walk on my property today. Just the beautiful weather I'm having here. I'm one of those people that really follows the planet. I hibernate, in a sense, in the wintertime. I go inwards in the wintertime. I follow those energies of the earth. I follow those energies of the moon, at least as much as I possibly can. At times, obviously, we get out of rhythm. However, when we're living on the Babylon time of 40 hours a week, all year round, no matter what time of the season, whether it's winter solstice or summer solstice, we are unable to catch on to the rhythm of the earth and the rhythm of God. And I really do believe that when we're following somebody else's destiny, somebody else's clock, we start to miss the bus when it comes to all the synchronicity, all the messages that God will give you. You have to know when it's time to go inwards. You have to have that ability. You have to know that if you're working for somebody else, then they're in control of your schedule. So that's why we have to find ways to make our lives a lot cheaper by producing a lot of our own food, by sharing land with people, sharing duties with people. We can actually, if we don't need all these special things like a truck for each person, and instead having a truck on a property, on a farm that everybody shares. Those are the kind of things that makes our lives able to click out of the Babylon clock and go into the nature's clock, God's clock. So yeah, it's in some ways you're giving up a lot of the comforts, because that's how they trick everybody into following the Babylon, is they give you everything you want. New iPhone every 6 months, the new flat screen. It's always a new technology, new computer to buy. You can have it all. You just have to make sure you go to work all the time. Well, here on my property, I didn't get a mortgage for my house. I just got a mortgage for the land, and I slowly built in time. I lived some times with no walls. We lived with no walls and no kitchen for a while, doing all our dishes in the bathtub. And that's what you have to do, is you have to struggle through and do all the work yourself, not get all people to do all the work for you, and not be so fancy that you learn to be a jack of all trades. You have to work hard, and I worked for people at times, and sometimes I did stucco for about 3 years, and I worked even when Melanie first came here. I did a cooking job for a while to help for immigration reasons. I've worked really hard at those times, in those times when I wasn't working for myself, and sometimes you have to, and those are the times that you put your head down and work hard so you can come to a better day. And because of all that hard work and building our own property and putting it together, making a greenhouse so we can continue to provide medicine for people, whether the power goes out or not. And yes, I struggle since all this stuff has happened with me financially occasionally, but I'm always surviving. God's always got me. When you have faith and you do what He asks of you, He'll always lead you to abundance. And I'm far from a prosperity preacher, because I do think that if you're a multi-millionaire or billionaire in this life right now, then it'd be easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than to get one of these people into heaven, because I could see what people could do with that money, and I don't see it happening. And I know that there's probably people that are well off out there that can't help and can't bring people to a better day, because they know there is people that are keeping it from happening. But I feel like if you have that kind of money, then you should be changing this world, you know. So my thoughts are is if I ever get to a point where I have extra money, I'll always be passing it on or investing it so that there's more protection for our community. And that means, you know, more greenhouses and eventually maybe more land for farms. And this is how we have to look at the new age capitalists. They're the ones that we should be investing in the people. If we want to work for people, we should work for the people that are working for our community. And that's my goal. Is I want to I have this land out here, and eventually I want some little tiny houses and some people living out here sharing the duties. We can have chickens and animals, and you know, have a beautiful life out here and share the costs of the place. And then we can, you know, the thing is when the people left Egypt, when the Israelites left Egypt, they did leave behind the housing that they provided and the food that they provided, and they went out to the desert. So they had to go out there and learn how to survive in a new way. So I'm not saying this is going to be just freedom and easy. We're going to have to like learn to work together and learn to put our egos to the side to be able to make any of these things work. I've tried these kind of communal task situations, and there's just a classic situation where some people just don't work, and there's no seeming like, and I can understand why there's people that are sick or injured or elderly that stop doing certain tasks. Obviously we have to take care of the weak in our communities. However, these haven't been those people. So we have to like learn to work hard and work for each other, and also respect each other's hierarchies. You know, some people are good at this kind of gardening, some people are good at that kind of gardening, some people are good at extracting medicines from plants, other people are good at teaching kids. All these things we have to learn to who's who, and that means we have to learn to look outside of ourselves for greatness. And to be honest, I know I've had a weird life with some weird people around me that never really showed any appreciation, and I can see how it's hard to even know what people are great at because people don't encourage each other. But I do know there is obviously people out there that encourage each other, but there's a lot of people out there that aren't encouraged, and we have to learn to encourage people if we want these communities to come together, you know. So I'm gonna bring a drum up here into the woods so I can play a bit of drums.